Hyunwoo Kim stood in the center of the biggest room he had ever seen. The walls stretched up so high that he could barely see the ceiling. Lights of every color hung in the air without touching anything. Around him sat creatures that looked like they came from his childhood nightmares and dreams. The Galactic Council chamber was nothing like the meeting rooms back on Earth. Here, beings made of crystal sat next to creatures that looked like giant flowers. Things with too many eyes watched him from seats that floated in mid-air. Some aliens glowed with their own light. Others seemed to be made of shadow and smoke. Hyunwoo tried not to stare. He had trained for this moment for 3 years. Earth's first human ambassador to the galaxy. The weight of his entire species rested on his shoulders. One wrong word could mean war. One right word could mean peace and trade with hundreds of worlds. Bora Lee stood beside him. She carried a small device that could translate any language in the known galaxy. Her job was to make sure nothing got lost in translation. She had studied alien customs until her eyes hurt. She knew which aliens to look at directly and which ones would take that as a threat. Ambassador Kim. A voice spoke without words. It came directly into his mind. The sound felt like crystal bells ringing inside his head. We welcome Earth to this gathering. Hyunwoo looked toward the source of the voice. A being made of blue crystal sat on a throne that seemed to be carved from a single huge diamond. Its body caught the light and threw rainbows across the walls. This was Veltar, leader of the Etherian people. Bora had told him that Veltar was over 2,000 years old. "Thank you for this honor," Hyunwoo said. His voice sounded small in the huge space. Earth is grateful to join the galactic community. Around the chamber, other aliens made sounds that Bora's device translated as agreement. Some clicked their teeth. Others hummed low notes that Hyunwoo felt in his bones. A few flashed different colors like living light shows. "Your species has impressed us," Veltar continued. The crystal being's voice stayed calm and musical. "Faster than light travel in only 50 years after your first atomic weapons. Most species take 300 years to make that jump." Hyunwoo nodded. He had heard this before. Humans were considered quick learners by galactic standards, maybe too quick for some people's comfort. "However," Veltar said, and the chamber grew quiet. "We have concerns." Here it comes, Hyunwoo thought. He had known this was coming. Earth's diplomats had warned him. The galaxy was worried about humanity for one specific reason. "Our scans of your ships show weapon systems," Veltar said. "Very powerful weapon systems. Your cargo ships carry more firepower than our military vessels. Your passenger ships have shields that could stop planet-killer missiles. Why do civilian human ships need such heavy weapons?" The question hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Around the chamber, aliens leaned forward in their seats, eye sensors and other things that served as eyes focused on Hyunwoo. He could feel their fear and curiosity mixing together like a storm. Bora touched his arm gently. They had practiced this moment hundreds of times. But standing here surrounded by beings who could destroy Earth with a thought felt different than any practice session. "Honored representatives," Hyunwoo began. He kept his voice steady and calm. "I understand your concern. From the outside, humans might seem like a violent species. Our ships do carry powerful weapons. Our people do train for combat from a young age. But I think you misunderstand why." He paused and looked around the chamber. Some aliens looked confused. Others looked suspicious. A few looked curious about what he would say next. Rather than try to explain with words, Hyunwoo continued. "Would the council allow me to show you? I have brought historical records and demonstrations that will make everything clear." Veltar's crystal body rang like a bell as the alien leader thought. "What kind of demonstration?" "Nothing dangerous," Hyunwoo said quickly. "Just data, videos, records of human history, and perhaps a call to one of our patrol ships so you can see for yourself." Murmurs filled the chamber. Aliens talked to each other in languages that sounded like music, static and animal calls all mixed together. Bora's device worked overtime trying to translate everything at once. A new voice spoke up. This one sounded like rocks grinding together. "Human weapons could threaten entire star systems. Why should we trust you?" The speaker was Gorth, leader of the Granite people. His species looked like walking mountains. They were slow to anger but never forgot an insult. Bora had warned Hyunwoo that Gorth would be the hardest to convince. "Because," Hyunwoo said, looking directly at the stone giant, "if humans wanted to threaten the galaxy, we would have attacked first and talked later. Instead, we came here asking to join you. We came asking for peace. But you came armed," Gorth rumbled. Yes, Hyunwoo admitted. We came armed. But not for the reasons you think. Another alien spoke up. This one looked like a giant octopus made of metal. Then tell us the real reason. Why does every human ship carry enough weapons to destroy a moon? Hyunwoo smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had seen too much and learned too many hard lessons. Because, he said, in human space everything is trying to kill you. And I mean everything. The chamber fell silent. Aliens looked at each other with confusion. Veltar's crystal body stopped glowing for a moment. Explain, the Etherian leader commanded. Space is not safe, Hyunwoo said. I know that sounds obvious, but I do not think you understand how unsafe it really is. In human space, we do not just worry about other ships attacking us. We worry about the space itself. He gestured to Bora, who activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. Images appeared in the air showing Earth's solar system. This is our home system, Hyunwoo said. It looks peaceful, does it not? But look closer. The display zoomed in to show the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Huge rocks tumbled through space, some as big as cities. Asteroid impacts, Hyunwoo said. They have hit Earth 65 times in recorded history. Each impact could destroy all life on our planet. We had to learn to spot them coming and either move them or destroy them. The display changed to show the sun. Solar flares, Hyunwoo continued. Our star sometimes throws out bursts of energy that could fry every electronic device on Earth. We had to build shields to protect our planet. More images appeared. Comets with tails of ice and rock. Gamma-ray bursts from distant stars. Rogue planets wandering through space without a sun. And that is just our local area, Hyunwoo said. When we started exploring other star systems, we found worse things. Black holes that appeared without warning. Neutron stars that could cook a planet from a light year away. Alien machines left behind by dead civilizations. The aliens in the chamber looked shocked. Some started making worried sounds. Others began talking quickly to their companions. So we armed our ships, Hyunwoo said. Not to fight you. Not to conquer worlds, but to fight the universe itself. Every human ship carries weapons that can destroy asteroids, deflect solar flares, and punch through cosmic radiation storms. Veltar's voice rang out across the chamber. You're saying that your weapons are for defense against natural disasters? Natural disasters, ancient alien weapons, space monsters, rogue AI, time anomalies, and things we do not even have names for yet, Hyunwoo said. In 50 years of space travel, humans have encountered 47 different types of cosmic threats. We learned early that if we wanted to survive out here, we had to be ready for anything. The chamber was completely silent now. Even the background humming of the station's machines seemed to stop. Would you like to see proof? Hyunwoo asked. I can call one of our patrol ships. Captain Do-hyun Park is waiting just outside your system. He can show you exactly what human ships are designed to fight. Gorth, the stone giant, leaned forward. Do it. Veltar nodded slowly. Yes, show us. Bora activated the communication system. In seconds, a holographic image appeared above them. A man in a simple blue uniform materialized in the light. Captain Park, Hyunwoo said. Please show the council your ship. Of course, Ambassador, Do-hyun said. His image smiled, but his eyes looked tired. Council members, this is the cargo vessel Indomitable Spirit. We are currently carrying medical supplies to the outer colonies. Another hologram appeared showing a ship that looked like it was built for war. Weapons covered every surface. The hull was thick enough to stop missiles. Engines glowed with barely controlled energy. A cargo ship? Veltar asked. The crystal being sounded confused. Yes, Do-hyun said. Last month we had to fight through an ion storm that stripped the paint off our hull. 2 weeks ago we destroyed a rogue comet that was heading toward a populated world. Yesterday we rescued a Centauri research vessel from a gravity well that appeared out of nowhere. The captain's expression grew serious. Honored council members, I have been flying through space for 20 years. In that time I have used my weapons exactly once against another living being, but I have used them over 300 times against the universe itself. Hyunwoo looked around the chamber. The aliens stared at the images with new understanding. Fear was starting to creep into their expressions. But it was not fear of humans anymore. Now do you see? Hyunwoo asked quietly. We are not heavily armed because we want to hurt you. Captain Do-hyun Park's holographic image stood in the center of the council chamber like a ghost made of light. Behind him, more holograms showed his ship from every angle. The Indomitable Spirit looked like a weapon that someone had attached engines to. Every surface bristled with guns, missile tubes, and energy cannons. Council members, Do-hyun said, his voice calm and professional. I know my ship looks scary, but let me show you what we actually use these weapons for. The hologram changed to show a video recording. Space filled the chamber, dark and empty except for stars. Suddenly, a massive rock came into view. It was spinning end over end, bigger than most cities. This asteroid was heading straight for New Seoul Colony, Do-hyun explained. Population 2 million people. We had 40 minutes to stop it. The video showed the indomitable spirit moving alongside the asteroid. Bright beams of energy shot out from the ship. They hit the rock and carved it into smaller pieces. More weapons fired, turning those pieces into dust and pebbles. Asteroid destroyed, Do-hyun said simply. Colony saved. This was Tuesday. Around the chamber, aliens made sounds of amazement. Some clicked approval. Others hummed with interest. But Hyun-woo could see worry in their faces. If humans needed that much firepower just to live safely in space, what did that say about space itself? The hologram changed again. This time it showed a different kind of threat. A wave of energy rolled through space like a wall of fire. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Solar flare from Rigel 7, Do-hyun continued. This energy burst would have fried every electronic device in the Tau Ceti system. We had to use our main deflector array to redirect it. The video showed the indomitable spirit positioning itself between the energy wave and a group of planets. The ship's weapons powered up, but instead of firing at targets, they created a shimmering barrier in space. The energy wave hit the barrier and split apart, flowing harmlessly around the planets. 4 billion people in that system, Do-hyun said. They never even knew they were in danger. Veltar's crystal body began to glow brighter. Captain Park, how often do these incidents occur? Do-hyun thought for a moment. In the past year? My ship alone has responded to 87 cosmic emergencies. That is about average for human patrol vessels. 87? The question came from Zixtal, a flower-like being whose petals had turned pale with shock. In 1 year? Yes, ma'am, Do-hyun replied. And that is just the big ones. We do not count things like solar windstorms or minor gravity fluctuations. Bora stepped forward and activated another display. This one showed a map of known space. Red dots appeared throughout the galaxy, marking dangerous areas. Esteemed Council, she said, these are cosmic hazards that human ships have encountered in the past 50 years. Each red dot represents a threat that could destroy entire civilizations. The alien stared at the map. It was covered in red dots, thousands of them. They filled almost every corner of known space. How are you still alive? Gorth asked. The stone giant's voice sounded puzzled and worried. Before anyone could answer, a new hologram appeared in the chamber. This was Dr. Gyuri Choi, Earth's leading expert on cosmic threats. She was a small woman with tired eyes and gray hair, but when she spoke, her voice carried absolute authority. Council members, Gyuri said, humans have survived because we learned early that the universe wants to kill us. Not just our enemies, not just other species. The universe itself. She activated a historical display that filled the chamber with images of Earth. Our planet has faced extinction 847 times in recorded history. Gyuri continued. Not from wars, not from politics, from cosmic events that most species never have to worry about. The first image showed Earth covered in ice. Everything was white and frozen. Ice ages, Gyuri explained. Earth has frozen solid 6 times. Each time, almost all life died. Humans survived by learning to make fire, build shelters, and preserve food. The image changed to show massive volcanoes erupting. Ash and fire filled the sky. Supervolcanic eruptions. These happen every few 100,000 years. They block out the sun and poison the air. Humans survived by going underground and growing food in caves. More images appeared. Meteors crashing into Earth. Massive floods covering continents. Earthquakes that split the ground open. Every single disaster taught us something, Gyuri said. Every near-extinction event made us stronger. We learned to see threats coming from far away. We learned to build tools that could stop unstoppable forces. We learned that if we wanted to live, we had to be ready for anything. Veltar's mental voice carried a note of disbelief. Your entire species evolved to survive cosmic disasters? Not just survive them, Gyuri replied. We evolved to fight them. Look at this. The hologram showed human children in a classroom. They were learning about space threats and how to stop them. Some were building models of asteroid deflectors. Others were designing evacuation plans for solar flares. Every human child learned survival skills before they learned to read. Gyuri explained. We teach them to recognize cosmic dangers. We show them how to build shelters that can protect against radiation storms. We train them to think like the universe is trying to kill them because it is. Around the chamber, aliens began talking to each other in worried voices. The translation devices struggled to keep up with all the different languages being spoken at once. Dr. Gyuri continued her presentation. When humans first reached space, we discovered that Earth was actually one of the safer places in the galaxy. Other star systems had worse problems. The display showed a neutron star spinning so fast it looked like a ball of light. Neutron stars that could cook a planet from light years away, she said. We had to learn to detect them and avoid their radiation beams. The image changed to show a black hole surrounded by swirling matter, black holes that appeared without warning. We lost 3 colony ships before we learned to scan for gravitational anomalies. More threats appeared on the display. Rogue planets wandering through space, gamma-ray bursts from distant galaxies, cosmic strings that could slice through matter like invisible knives. And then there were the artificial threats, Gyuri said. Her voice grew darker. Ancient alien machines left behind by dead civilizations. Most of them were still active. Most of them were hostile. She showed videos of human ships fighting strange metallic creatures in space. The machines moved like living things but were clearly built rather than born. The harvester drones in the Vega system, Gyuri explained. They had been waiting for millions of years for someone to wake them up. When our first exploration ship arrived, they tried to strip mine every planet in the system. What happened to them? Asked Yilmore, an alien that looked like a living cloud of gas. We destroyed them, Do-hyun answered from his ship. Took us 3 months and half our fleet, but we stopped them before they could reproduce. You destroyed million-year-old alien technology? Feltar sounded amazed. We had to, Do-hyun replied. They would have spread to other systems. Billions of people would have died. Dr. Gyuri nodded. That was when we realized that human-level firepower was not enough. We needed weapons that could stop anything at all. She showed blueprints of human weapon systems. They were far more complex than anything the Council species had ever built. Planet cracker missiles for rogue asteroids, she explained. Starkiller beams for out-of-control fusion reactions. Reality anchors for dimensional anomalies. Temporal stabilizers for time distortions. Time distortions? Gorth asked. Space-time gets twisted sometimes, Gyuri said casually. Usually near black holes or ancient alien ruins. We have lost ships in time loops. We have had colonies age backwards until everyone was unborn, so we built weapons that can stabilize time itself. The chamber fell silent. The aliens stared at the human displays with growing horror. These were not just advanced weapons. These were tools designed to fight the fundamental forces of reality. How many of these cosmic threats have you encountered? Veltar asked quietly. Do-hyun answered from his ship. In 50 years of space exploration, humans have cataloged 47 different types of extinction-level cosmic threats. We have developed countermeasures for all of them. 47, Veltar repeated. In 50 years. Yes, sir, Do-hyun said. And we discover new ones every month. Dr. Gyuri closed her presentation. Honored Council, you asked why human ships are so heavily armed. Now you know, we are not armed for war against other species. We are armed for war against the universe itself. She paused and looked around the chamber at all the alien faces. Every human ship is a mobile fortress because space is not safe, she continued. Every human settlement is a bunker because planets are not safe. Every human carries emergency supplies because safety is an illusion. But surely, Zixtal said, her flower petals trembling, surely these threats are rare in civilized space. Do-hyun's image shook its head. Ma'am, with respect, there is no such thing as civilized space. There is only space that has not tried to kill you yet. As if to prove his point, alarms suddenly began sounding throughout the council chamber. Emergency lights flashed. Computer voices announced warnings in dozens of alien languages. Veltar's crystal body blazed with urgent light. What is happening? A council technician's voice came over the communication system. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Aliens spoke rapidly in their native languages. Some jumped from their seats. Others huddled together in fear. Emergency alarms continued to blare throughout the massive station. 6 hours, Veltar repeated, the crystal being's voice cutting through the noise. Our fastest ships need 12 hours to reach minimum safe distance. Do-hyun's holographic image remained perfectly calm in the center of the panic. Council leader, my ship can be there in 30 minutes. but I will need authorization to enter your system's defense perimeter. You would risk your ship for us? Gorth asked. The stone giant sounded amazed. Sir, this is what we do, Do-hyun replied simply. Bora, can you patch me through to Fleet Command? Bora worked quickly with her devices. Another hologram appeared next to Do-hyun. This one showed a tall man with graying hair and eyes that had seen too much. Admiral Jinho Seo stood on the bridge of a ship that looked more like a flying city than a vehicle. Admiral, Do-hyun said, we have a Code 7 cosmic emergency at the Council Station. Requesting immediate support. Jinho nodded without hesitation. Already moving. The Noah-class vessel Perseverance is 2 hours out. The Lazarus fleet can be there in 4 hours if needed. Around the chamber, aliens stared at the two humans talking casually about moving massive fleets to help complete strangers. But Hyunwoo noticed something else in their expressions. Along with amazement, there was growing fear. Admiral, Veltar said, what is a Noah-class vessel? Jinho looked directly at the crystal being. Council leader, I think it is time you understood exactly what humanity has prepared for. The Admiral activated a display that filled the chamber with technical specifications. The ship on the screen was enormous. It dwarfed even the largest Council vessels. The Perseverance is one of 2,847 Noah-class colony ships, Jinho explained. Each one is designed to support 10 million humans for up to 10,000 years in deep space. 10,000 years? Yilmore asked. The gas cloud alien's voice carried notes of disbelief. Yes, Jinho replied. Each Noah ship carries complete genetic databases for every species on Earth. Manufacturing facilities that can build entire fleets. Terraforming equipment that can make dead planets livable. And enough weapons to sterilize solar systems if necessary. The chamber fell silent except for the continuing alarms. Aliens stared at the ship specifications with growing horror. This was not just a colony vessel. This was a civilization in a bottle, armed with world-ending weapons. Why? Zixtal whispered. Her flower petals had turned completely white. Why would you build such things? A new voice answered her. Engineer Haewon Lim appeared as another hologram. She was a young woman with oil stains on her uniform and tired eyes that sparkled with intelligence. Because Earth has been destroyed before, Haewon said matter-of-factly. Not completely, but close enough. Every few million years, something happens that wipes out most life on our planet. We decided that next time we would be ready. She activated another display showing Earth's history. Asteroid impact 65 million years ago, she said. Killed the dinosaurs. Ice ages that froze the planet solid. Volcanic eruptions that blocked out the sun for years. Each time, life survived by pure luck. The display showed the human timeline. Humans appeared 200,000 years ago. Haewon continued. We almost went extinct at least 12 times. Supervolcanoes, climate shifts, diseases that killed 90% of our population. We survived by learning to plan ahead. But this goes far beyond planning, Veltar said. The crystal being's voice carried a note of fear. You have prepared for the complete destruction of your homeworld. Actually, said another voice, we have prepared for much worse than that. Strategist Min Soo-yu appeared as a fourth hologram. He was an older man with scars on his face and hands that never stopped moving. When he spoke, even the alarm seemed to quiet down to listen. Council members, Min Soo said, allow me to introduce you to Operation Lazarus. The displays around the chamber changed to show star maps, but these were not normal maps. They showed hidden bases throughout the galaxy, weapons platforms disguised as asteroids, ships hiding in the dark between stars. Operation Lazarus is our contingency plan for complete human extinction, Min Soo explained. Not just Earth being destroyed. Not just our colonies being wiped out. Complete extinction of our entire species. He pointed to different locations on the map. Hidden bases in 47 different galaxies, he said. Each one completely self-sufficient. Each one capable of rebuilding human civilization from nothing but stored genetic material and computer databases. 47 galaxies? Gorth's voice shook the chamber. You have spread that far? We had to, Min Soo replied. If something can destroy us in one galaxy, we need to be ready in others. Each Lazarus base is hidden and armed well enough to fight off whatever destroyed the original human civilization. Haewon activated another display. This one showed weapons that made the ship armaments look like toys. Galaxy killer missiles, she said casually. dimension bombs that can destroy entire universes, reality viruses that can rewrite the laws of physics, timeline erasers that can make threats unhappen. The aliens in the chamber began making sounds of terror. Some started backing toward the exits. Others seemed frozen in shock. "You have weapons that can destroy galaxies?" Veltar asked. The crystal being's light had dimmed to almost nothing. "We have weapons that can destroy anything," Minsu said simply. "Because we learned early that impossible just means not impossible enough." "But why?" Zixtal asked again. "Why prepare for such extreme scenarios?" Dr. Guri stepped forward. "Because they have happened before." She activated a new display showing deep space observations. "We have found the remains of 43 different galactic civilizations," she said. Each one was more advanced than humanity. Each one was completely wiped out by cosmic events that should have been impossible. The display showed dead galaxies, empty space where billions of stars should have been. Reality itself torn apart by forces beyond understanding. "The Andromeda Eaters," Guri continued, "something that consumed an entire galaxy in 6 months. We still do not know what they were, but we have weapons designed to fight them if they come back. The void storms of Sector 7. Waves of nothingness that erased matter from existence. Our reality anchors can stop them. The time plague that infected the Magellanic Clouds. It made cause and effect work backwards until whole civilizations became unbirthed. Our temporal stabilizers provide immunity. Each new revelation hit the Council like a physical blow. These were not theoretical threats. These were documented disasters that had actually happened to real civilizations. How do you sleep at night?" Yilmore asked. "Knowing that such things exist?" "We do not sleep well," Do-hyun admitted from his ship. "But we sleep better knowing we are prepared." Admiral Jin-ho stepped forward. "Council members, humanity learned something important from our history. The universe does not care if you are good or evil, peaceful or warlike, advanced or primitive. When cosmic disaster strikes, it kills everyone equally. So we became the species that cosmic disasters cannot kill," Minsu added. "We built weapons that can fight the impossible. We made plans for the unthinkable. We prepared for threats that other species cannot even imagine. And it is a good thing we did," Do-hyun said, checking his ship's sensors. "Because that gravitational anomaly heading toward the station? It is not natural." The chamber fell completely silent. Even the alarms seemed to pause. "What do you mean?" Veltar asked. "I mean something is pushing it," Do-hyun replied. "Something big. Something that does not want to be detected. My ship's deep space sensors are picking up artificial gravity patterns behind the anomaly." Fear filled the chamber like a living thing. Aliens who had never known true terror suddenly understood what humans lived with every day. "What should we do?" Veltar asked quietly. "You should evacuate the station," Admiral Jin-ho said. "Get everyone to minimum safe distance, and then you should let us do what we do best, which is..." Gorth asked. "Fight the impossible," Jin-ho replied. "And win." On the displays, human ships began moving into position around the Council station. They moved with practiced efficiency, like pieces in a game they had played many times before. Each vessel bristled with weapons designed to fight threats that most species could not even comprehend. "How long until your ships arrive?" Veltar asked. "Admiral's ship will be here in 90 minutes, Do-hyun reported. "The Lazarus fleet in 3 hours. But honestly, Council Leader, I hope we do not need them." "Why?" Do-hyun's image smiled, but there was no humor in it. "Because if we need the Lazarus fleet, it means we are dealing with something that can threaten entire galaxies. And that means this will not end with just saving your station." "What do you mean?" "I mean if something that dangerous has found the Council worlds," Do-hyun said quietly, "then the whole galaxy is in trouble. And we will have to use weapons that might scare you more than the original threat." As the human fleets moved into position, the aliens in the Council chamber finally began to understand the terrible truth about their new neighbors. Humans were not just heavily armed because they were violent or aggressive. The Council chamber had become a war room. Holographic displays showed the approaching threat from every angle. Human ships moved through space like sharks circling prey, but the aliens watched something else with growing horror: how calmly the humans handled what should have been a terrifying situation. Dr. So-Young Kim materialized as a new hologram in the center of the chamber. She was a small woman with kind eyes, but when she spoke about human psychology, her voice carried the weight of uncomfortable truths. "Council members," So-Young said, "while our ships deal with the immediate threat, I think you need to understand something about human nature, something that might disturb you more than our weapons. She activated a display showing human entertainment. Movies, books, video games, and virtual reality simulations filled the air around her. These are human recreational activities, she explained. Notice anything unusual? Veltar studied the images. They all seemed to involve disasters and extinctions. Exactly, So Young replied. Humans, for entertainment, create scenarios where their entire species is wiped out. Then they enjoy figuring out how to survive. The display showed movie titles. Asteroid Storm, Galaxy, Killer, The Last Human, Extinction, Protocol. Game titles included Survive the Void, Rebuild Civilization, and Cosmic Horror Defense. We have an entire entertainment industry built around apocalypse scenarios, So Young continued. Children play games where they rebuild society after nuclear wars. Teenagers compete to see who can survive longer in simulation disasters. Adults spend their free time reading stories about humanity's extinction and recovery. Zixtal's flower petals trembled. You enjoy imagining your own destruction? We do not just imagine it, So Young said. We perfect it. Look at this. The display changed to show human educational institutions, military academies, survival schools, and disaster preparation centers. Every human military officer must create detailed survival plans for 10,000 different extinction scenarios, she explained. This is not theoretical training. This is required graduation material. She showed examination papers with titles like Defending Against Galactic Scale Mind Control, Rebuilding Civilization After Reality Collapse, and Countering Universe-Ending Artificial Intelligence. These are actual test questions, So Young said. Human cadets must solve problems like, a cosmic entity begins eating stars in your galaxy. You have one ship and a crew of 50. Develop a strategy to stop it before it reaches Earth. Around the chamber, aliens made sounds of disbelief. The translation devices struggled with emotions that had no equivalents in most languages. And they passed these tests? Gorth asked. 97% pass rate, So Young replied. We consider it a low score if a cadet cannot devise workable solutions to at least 8,000 extinction scenarios. Tactical analyst Dongwook An appeared as another hologram. He was a young man who moved like a predator and spoke like a professor. Council members, Dongwook said, human strategic doctrine is based on a simple principle. Assume the worst possible outcome, then prepare for something twice as bad. He activated displays showing human contingency plans. Standard Protocol 7, Complete Solar System Sterilization, he read. Used when Earth becomes uninhabitable but humans can escape. We evacuate the population and use our own sun as a weapon against whatever threat forced us to leave. Protocol 15, Galactic Quarantine. Used when humanity becomes infected with something that could spread to other galaxies. We seal off our entire galaxy and destroy anything trying to leave, including ourselves if necessary. Protocol 23, Reality Revision. Used when the fundamental laws of physics become hostile to human life. We rewrite the laws of physics in our local area of space. Each new protocol caused more shock in the chamber. These were not just military strategies. These were detailed plans for sacrificing everything humans had built to stop threats that most species could not even imagine. How many protocols do you have? Veltar asked weakly. Currently, 47,612. Dongwook replied. We add new ones every month as we discover new ways the universe might try to kill us. 47,000. Veltar repeated faintly. Cultural attaché Young Hee. Bei joined the growing collection of holograms. She looked like someone's grandmother, but her eyes held depths that suggested she had seen the worst humanity could offer. Honored Council, Young Hee said, you must understand that this is not just military thinking. This is how all humans think. From childhood. She showed images of human families. Human parents teach their children survival skills before they teach them to read, she explained. Every human home has emergency supplies for at least 6 different types of disasters. Every human child knows how to build shelters that can protect against radiation, biological weapons, and reality distortions. Reality distortions? Gilmore asked. Yes, Young Hee replied matter-of-factly. Sometimes the laws of physics stop working properly near certain cosmic phenomena. Human children learn to recognize the warning signs and build temporary reality anchors out of household materials. She showed videos of human children, no older than 10, calmly assembling devices that could stabilize space-time. We have television shows where families compete to see who can survive longer in disaster simulations, Young Hee continued. Game shows where contestants try to rebuild civilization after different apocalypse scenarios. Children's programs that teach survival skills through songs and stories. The display showed a children's cartoon where animated characters cheerfully explained how to survive gamma-ray bursts, alien invasions, and dimensional collapses. The theme song translates roughly as, "When the universe tries to kill you, kill it back," Young Hee said with a gentle smile. 3-year-olds sing it while they learn to walk. Dr. So Young stepped forward again. This is what you need to understand about human psychology. We are the only known species to develop recreational paranoia. Recreational paranoia? Feltar asked. We enjoy being afraid of things that might kill us, So Young explained. We compete to see who can imagine the most terrifying threats. We write stories about cosmic horrors that could drive other species insane just by existing, and then we figure out how to fight them. She showed human literature, books with titles like Things That Should Not Be, The Color from Beyond, and Mathematics of Madness. These are popular entertainment, she said. Humans read these stories for fun. We imagine cosmic entities so alien and powerful that just understanding their existence would destroy most minds, and then we create strategies for defeating them. We have entire government departments dedicated to planning for threats that do not exist yet, Dongwook added. The Department of Impossible Scenarios employs 50,000 people, whose job is to imagine new ways the universe might try to kill us. 50,000 people, Gorth rumbled. Just imagining disasters. And they are good at it, Young Hee said proudly. Last year alone, they predicted 17 different cosmic threats that we later encountered. Their imagination saved millions of lives. Admiral Jinho's voice cut through the conversation. Speaking of threats, we have identified what is pushing that gravitational anomaly toward your station. The displays changed to show long-range sensor readings. Something massive moved through space behind the anomaly, something that did not belong in normal reality. It appears to be a harvester ship, Jinho said, but not like the ones we fought in the Vega system. This one is much larger, much older, and it is definitely awake. A harvester ship? Feltar asked. What does it harvest? Civilizations, Do-hyun replied from his patrol vessel. They strip mine entire star systems for resources, but they do not just take minerals and energy. They harvest information, culture, technology, and life itself. How big is it? Zixtal whispered. Roughly the size of your moon, Jinho replied. And it is heading directly for this station. Estimated time of arrival, 4 hours, 17 minutes. The chamber fell silent except for the continued alarms. This was not just a cosmic disaster. This was a deliberate attack by something ancient and hostile. What do we do? Feltar asked. You evacuate, Admiral Jinho said firmly. Get every ship and every person as far away from here as possible. This is going to get very dangerous very quickly. What about you? We stay and fight, Do-hyun said simply. This is what we trained for. You cannot fight something that large. Yilmore protested. It could destroy entire fleets. Yes, Dongwook agreed. It probably could. That is why we brought the appropriate response, which is... Dr. So Young smiled, but it was not a comforting expression. Council members, you have seen our standard equipment. Our patrol ships, our colony vessels, our emergency protocols, but you have not seen what we bring when we know we are going to fight something impossible. What do you mean? I mean, Admiral Jinho said, that we humans have a saying, if you are going to kill a god, you had better not miss. On the displays, new ships began appearing at the edge of the system. These were not like the human vessels the Council had seen before. These ships looked like they were built from nightmares and mathematics. They moved through space in ways that hurt to watch. Those are Deicide-class vessels, Jinho explained calmly. We built them specifically to fight cosmic entities that should be impossible to kill. The evacuation of the Council station was like watching a carefully choreographed dance. Alien ships fled in perfect formation while human vessels moved in the opposite direction. Every human ship that passed the fleeing aliens looked like it was built for war. Even the ones labeled as research vessels or medical transports. Fleet Commander Tai Jun Go stood on the bridge of the massive battleship Endurance. His image appeared in the council chamber as the station's population fled to safety. Behind him, crew members worked with calm efficiency that was somehow more frightening than panic would have been. "Council members," Taejun said, "you are about to see exactly why humans build civilian ships that can destroy moons. This harvester is roughly 15 times larger than anything we have fought before." The main display showed the approaching alien machine. It was beautiful in a terrible way. Like a sculpture made from dark matter and malevolent intelligence, smaller ships swarmed around it like parasites feeding on a corpse. "Analysis complete," reported Chief Medical Officer Yoon Ji-han from the Endurance's medical bay. "The harvester contains biological components from approximately 400 different species. Some of them are still alive." The horror of that statement settled over the chamber. This machine did not just destroy civilizations. It absorbed them, keeping parts of them alive forever as components in its own structure. 400 species, Veltar whispered. The crystal being's light had dimmed to almost nothing. "How long has it been hunting?" "Approximately 47 million years, Yoonji replied. Carbon dating suggests it consumed its first civilization during Earth's Jurassic period. It has been growing stronger ever since. How do you fight something like that?" Korth asked. "Very carefully," Taejun replied, "and with weapons that most species would consider war crimes against reality itself." The human fleet spread out around the approaching harvester. There were dozens of ships, each one bristling with weapons that seemed to bend space around them. But the aliens watching from their evacuation vessels noticed something strange. The humans were not just preparing to fight. They were preparing to contain. "Admiral Jin-ho, what are those ships doing?" Veltar asked. Jin-ho's image appeared beside Taejun's. "Building a quarantine field. If this harvester breaks apart when we destroy it, we need to make sure none of the pieces escape. Some of those absorbed species might include self-replicating technologies or reality viruses." "Reality viruses?" "Infectious ideas that can rewrite the laws of physics," Yoonji explained. "One of the harvester's previous victims was apparently working on weaponized mathematics when they were absorbed. We cannot let that technology spread." Dr. So-Young Kim appeared as another hologram. "Council members, what you are about to witness is a human military doctrine called absolute sterilization. We use it when complete destruction is not enough." "What do you mean?" "I mean we are not just going to destroy this harvester," So-Young said. "We are going to make it never have existed in the first place." Before anyone could ask what that meant, the battle began. The harvester opened fire first. Beams of dark energy lashed out across space, turning asteroids into nothing. Where the beams passed, space itself seemed to scream, but the human ships were no longer where the beams hit them. "Temporal displacement active," reported tactical analyst Dong-Wook An. "Fleet is operating 0.3 seconds ahead of local time. Enemy weapons are hitting where we were, not where we are." The human response was immediate and overwhelming. Weapons fired that had no names in any alien language. Reality anchors deployed to prevent the harvester from escaping into other dimensions. Causality bombs exploded to ensure that even if the harvester somehow survived, its past actions would be undone. "What are those weapons?" Gilmore asked in terror. "Standard deicide armament," Taejun replied calmly. "Universe crackers, dimension bombs, timeline erasers, and a few experimental weapons we have never field-tested before." "Experimental weapons? On something this dangerous?" "The experimental ones are not dangerous to us," Yoonji said. "They are dangerous to the fundamental structure of reality. We only use them when we need to kill something that exists on multiple levels of existence simultaneously." The harvester fought back with weapons that had been stolen from 400 different civilizations. It fired gravity wells that collapsed space into knots. It launched swarms of nanomachines that could convert matter into more copies of themselves. It projected mental attacks that could drive entire species insane. The human fleet absorbed every attack and kept fighting. "Hull breach on Sector 7, reported Captain Do-Hyun Park from his patrol ship. "Reality distortion is spreading through decks 4 through 9. "Acknowledged," Taejun replied. "Seal those sections and purge them with temporal fire." "Temporal fire?" Felter asked. "We burn the affected areas out of the timeline," Yoonji explained. "It never happened, so the damage never occurred." The battle continued for what felt like hours but was actually only minutes. The human ships moved through space like they were dancing to music only they could hear. Every movement was precise. Every shot was calculated. Every decision was made with the calm certainty of people who had practiced this scenario thousands of times. Target is beginning primary fragmentation, Dongwook reported. Multiple secondary cores detected. It is trying to split into smaller units. Not today, Taijun said grimly. All ships activate dimensional locks. Nothing gets away. Space around the harvester suddenly became solid. The ancient machine found itself trapped in a bubble of frozen reality, unable to split apart or escape. Beginning final phase, Admiral Jin Ho announced. All non-essential personnel, close your eyes and cover your ears. What we are about to do might damage your sanity. What are you going to do? Feltar asked. We are going to use a weapon that kills things so thoroughly that they never existed, Jin Ho replied. It is called an ontological bomb. It erases something from the fundamental structure of reality. Is that not impossibly dangerous? Yes, Jin Ho agreed. That is why we built it. The human fleet fired simultaneously. What happened next was impossible to describe in any language. The harvester did not just explode or disappear. It ceased to have ever been. Space where it had existed became clean again, as if nothing had ever been there. Target eliminated from all timelines, Dongwook reported. Probability cascade shows no alternate realities where it survived. Causal review confirms it has been retconned from existence. What about the 400 species it absorbed? Hyunji asked. Already working on that, Dr. So-young replied. Genetic reconstruction teams are preparing to restore them from quantum echoes. We should be able to bring back at least 60% of the absorbed civilizations. You can bring back extinct species? Sixtal asked in amazement. We have had a lot of practice, So-young said sadly. Every time something destroys a civilization, we try to fix it afterward. It is one of our most important jobs. As the human fleet began cleanup operations, Ambassador Hyunwoo Kim delivered the news that would change everything the Council thought they knew about the galaxy. Honored Council, Hyunwoo said, our deep space monitoring networks have detected 17 similar threats currently heading toward various Council worlds. They will arrive within the next 6 months. The chamber fell completely silent. 17, Feltar asked weakly. That we know of, Hyunwoo confirmed. Our sensors can only detect threats within a certain range. There are probably more. How is this possible? Gorth demanded. The galaxy has been peaceful for thousands of years. No, Admiral Jin Ho corrected gently. The galaxy has been quiet because these threats were sleeping. Our arrival seems to have woken them up. Dr. Gyuri Choi appeared as a final hologram. Council members, this is what humans learned long ago. Peace is not the natural state of the universe. Peace is what happens when someone is strong enough to enforce it. And you are offering to enforce it for us? Feltar asked. We are offering to teach you to enforce it for yourselves, Gyuri replied. But yes, until you are ready, we will stand between you and everything that wants to kill you. Why? Yilmore asked. What do you gain from protecting us? Hyunwoo smiled, and for the first time since the crisis began, it was a genuinely warm expression. Because, he said, humans learned something else from our history. The universe is vast and dangerous and lonely, but when you find other people worth protecting, you protect them, not because you have to, because you choose to. And because, Admiral Jin Ho added, if we let these threats destroy Council space, they will just get stronger and come for Earth eventually. It is better to fight them here now while we have allies. Fleet Commander Taijun appeared one last time. Council Leader, we are deploying early warning systems throughout your space. Human defense platforms will protect your major worlds. Our patrol fleets will begin regular sweeps for cosmic threats. What do you need from us? Feltar asked. Just your permission, Taijun replied. And maybe your trust. You have both, Veltar said without hesitation. But I must ask, what happens when you find threats too dangerous even for human weapons? The humans looked at each other. For a moment, their calm confidence flickered. Then, Admiral Jin Ho said quietly, we evacuate everyone we can and use weapons that we hope we never have to use.